Coming to you from the Deep South, this is the Blue Collar Leadership Podcast. High-impact leadership is not reserved for leaders, and it has nothing to do with your position, title, or rank. However, it does have everything to do with your character. It's time to climb to the next level and beyond, personally and professionally. Now, let's start making it happen with your host, Mac Story.
Before we get started with today's episode, I want to take a few moments and give you a preview of what you're about to hear and also direct you to some other series that I already have completed on my podcast. So you're about to listen to Blue Collar Kaizen, Leading Lean and Lean Teams. You're listening to a 30-part series on that. Today's episode is just one of 30. It's specific to lean leaders, lean managers, anyone who's leading teams of people through process improvement and continuous improvement projects, Six Sigma, those kind of things. It's not about the tools and the methods and all that. It's about how to lead teams of people. So any leader, anybody at any level can get value from this. But I just want you to know that's what this series is about. It's about that specific book. So hope you enjoy it. But I have some other series that may interest you if this series does not. Got a lot of episodes already out there. But I have a book called Blue Collar Leadership, Leading from the Front Lines. It's all about how to become a high-impact individual, how to become a sought-after employee of choice, an employee that people want to hire and want to promote. That series, there's a 30-part series, starts at episode 65. I have another series on my book, Blue Collar Leadership and Supervision, Unleash Your Team's Potential. That book is for leaders, formal authority leaders who want to learn how to effectively lead people. That series, 30-part series, starts at episode 111. I have another series. It's an 11-part series on my book, 10 Foundational Elements of Intentional Transformation, How to Become Your Best Self. That series starts at episode 158. I have another series on my Blue Collar Leadership and Culture, the 5 components for building high-performance teams. That book is really for the top leader, and it's how do you become the sought-after employer of choice. It's a 30-part series. It begins at episode 179. My wife Rhea and I, this year in 2021, the theme for my podcast this year was all about change. That's why I'm doing this series on Blue Collar Kaizen, Leading Lean and Lean Teams, because it's all about leading teams through change. But we have a 15-part series we recorded together on our book, Change Happens, Leading Yourself and Others Through Change. That series starts at episode 211. And then this Blue Collar Kaizen, Leading Lean and Lean Teams series, the one you're about to listen to, one of the episodes of, it started at episode 230 and will be a 30-part series. So it's going to take a little while to finish it. Hope you find value in some of these series. Let's get to today's podcast. All right, everyone. Welcome to the Blue Collar Leadership Podcast. Last episode, we talked about the emotional trust account. And I told you part 13 of 30, which we're on today, chapter 13, is titled Declare Your Intent. I told you we're going to be talking about it, so we're about to dive into it today. The subtitle is Help the Team See and Feel the Right Things. So we're talking about declaring your intent. And again, the reason you want to declare your intent is because you really, literally want to help the team see and feel the right things. You're helping paint them a picture so they can see the picture. I want to open today with a quote from Jimmy Collins. Again, Jimmy is a personal friend and mentor of mine since 2015. He retired in 2001 as president and COO of Chick-fil-A. And this quote, I'm sure it came from his book titled Creative Followership in the Shadow of Greatness. Jimmy is a special man and he means a lot to me. And I enjoy when I come across a quote and get to keep sharing his message with the world and with my audience. So this opening quote is from Jimmy Collins. Jimmy says, "Followers choose to follow a leader with a compelling purpose. vision, cause, or goal, the unifying purpose. It is the leader's unifying purpose that attracts the interest and loyalty of followers. The leader is someone who is able to communicate unifying purpose in a manner that is inspiring, persuasive, or motivating. The unifying purpose joins the followers to the leader. And again, that was a quote from Jimmy Collins. And that last line was a key point there. The unifying purpose joins the followers to the leader. And the reason I have that as the opening quote for this chapter is you've got to help your team understand the unifying purpose. And one way you do that is by declaring your intent. It's one of the quickest ways to build trust is to declare your intent. And the quickest way to build trust relative to declaring your intent is to make the team members feel valued. It's got to be authentic and it's got to be real, but you can do this immediately by declaring your intent as soon as you kick off the Lean Kaizen event, the process improvement event with your team. You can kick it off. You can declare your intent immediately. And I always usually do that pretty quick on Monday morning. And I'm going to share, what I mean by that here in a minute. But as I get started, or as I got started on my lean journey, I quickly learned not everyone shared my enthusiasm about process improvement. I loved process improvement. It didn't take anything to get me fired up about what I was about to go do with a team because that's what I wanted to do. But not everybody on the team wanted to do it. I wanted to prove I could make a difference. I love the challenge of improving processes. But not everyone likes being in the spotlight. And I'm talking about team members. Not everyone likes working together as a team. Not everyone likes their job. Not everyone likes their boss. And it didn't take me long to figure out this one, but not everyone liked me. Not everyone's going to like you. And it's okay. You can still lead your way right through it. But what does declare your intent mean when I'm saying that? And it's a huge component of building trust, especially creating and doing it intentionally so that you're making deposits into that emotional trust account. It means you tell the team what to look for so they see the right thing in the right way for the right reason. And sometimes, especially at the right time. So tell them why you're about to do or say something before you do or say it. By doing so, you're making sure that you're aligning their thinking with your intention. That creates trust. That puts deposits into the emotional trust account. Otherwise, they'll tell themselves a story about your behavior, your words, your actions, and your intentions. And often, their story is not in alignment with reality. You know that. People come up with, they'll tell themselves a story about why you're doing what you're doing, why you're acting the way you're acting, why you're saying what you're saying. That's what we do. We all do it about other people and other things. We try to wrap our frame of reference around every story, everything that goes on. We wrap it in the way that we see the world. We wrap it with our paradigm. And that's what paradigm means, our frame of reference, how we see the world. So what you want to do, one of the things I would always do early on Monday morning when I was leading process improvement teams, Kaizen teams, is I want to declare my intent. I want to declare, this is what you can do. Declare you are leading, but you are also a team member. I always wanted them to know, yes, I'm leading this Kaizen event, but I want you to know I'm also a team member. I'm going to share some ideas. I'm going to ask some questions. I'm going to do some of the work. I'm going to participate. I also have the responsibility of leading, so I can't be doing all of the work, and I can't be down in the trenches and miss what I'm responsible for doing, but I'm going to be engaged. I'm going to be involved. I want you to see me as a team member, not as a boss. Definitely didn't want to ever be the boss. The other thing is declare you don't want credit and will give them all the credit for their success. I always want them to know that. I'd say, whatever we do this week on Friday, I'm going to stand at the back of the room. You're going to stand at the front of the room. And the big dogs, the leaders, are going to come in here, and you're going to get to present what you achieved this week, not what I achieved, because I'm only helping you. You're the main attraction. I'm the sideshow. And I'm going to be in the back of the room. It's all about you. I don't want nothing to be about me. I don't need credit. They hired me because they know that I know how to do this. That's why I got hired. So I would declare my intent that I ain't coming in here trying to get credit from you. So what I'm doing is I'm opening the gate, letting them out of the gate wide open. Now, if they don't trust me, that don't mean a lot. So I got to build trust. I got to declare my intent, but then they got to start seeing it. So I start giving them credit quickly. The first chance I get, I'm giving credit. I'm doing it openly and publicly. The big dogs come out there, I'll start telling them how the team's doing a great job, that sort of stuff. Any way that I can do it. Not only am I going to declare my intent to do it on Friday, I ain't going to just tell them that on Monday. I am going to tell them that on Monday, but I ain't going to wait till Friday to do it, because for that to happen, I got to start giving them credit immediately, frequently, consistently, relentlessly, so they know my actions align with my words. And then you want to declare that you want to help themselves by making things better, not worse. I would always tell them that. I'm here, regardless of what we do this week, my intention is to help you make your job and your life easier, not harder. Now, on Monday morning, they may love hearing that, but they may not believe it. So that's where we got to, once we get into it, and what I'm teaching you in this book, when I started teaching them personal growth and leadership development principles for the first 4 hours on Monday morning, which is what I'm going to teach you later in this book to do. When I started doing that entire morning, I was declaring intent, but I was also aligning my behavior with my words. Because what I just told you, that I wanted to help them help themselves, that's what I did when I started doing the first 4 hours on Monday morning. Personal growth, leadership development, leadership training, the first hour of every other day, the rest of the week. Priming the pump. I got a chapter I'm going to talk to you later. That's what it's titled, Priming the Pump. So you got to make sure they tell themselves the right story. That's the key piece. And you do that by declaring your intent. So here's an example of declaring intent. I often talk about my past successes with other teams at the start of an event with new teams. I don't lead Kaizen teams anymore, so I'm talking about this in the past, because all I do today is personal growth and leadership development. But what this book is teaching you, and what I'm sharing with you in the book, is really how my journey to where I am today started, because I started doing it during these lean events, and it was very powerful. That's why I wrote the book. That's why I'm sharing it with you today. But I declare my intent before I start telling the related stories. I'd say something like, I'm about to share some past successes with you. I'm doing this so you can see I've had success in the past with teams just like you in similar situations. I'm not doing it to impress you, but to inspire you, because you can achieve the same results. I'll also be sharing ideas I've learned from others to provoke new thoughts and new ideas you may not have considered. So I'm going to share a lot of things with you that's going to accelerate your success this week. And I'm not sharing them to toot my own horn. I'm sharing the success to know that, so that you know I've done this before. I've helped other teams just like you make things better for themselves. That's just one example. But again, no one will believe a word you say until your actions and your behaviors align with those words. So to build trust, your words and actions have to align. It's that simple. But what you got to know about what I was just saying is, no one's going to believe a word you say, ever. No one believes a word that I say. It's kind of weird how this works. We only believe the story we tell ourselves about what other people say. We do it all the time. You probably did it just then when I said that. When I said we only believe the stories we tell ourselves about what other people say. You may have just thought, is that true? And then you had to try to justify it. When you said, is that true to yourself, then you tried to justify it. Is that true or is that not true? Whatever you came up with, that's what you believe. It had nothing to do with what I said, except for that influenced you to have a thought. But the answer that you come up with, that's what you believe. You don't believe what I said unless you agree with it. Then you believe it. If you disagree with what I said, you don't believe what I said, but you still believe whatever you come up with. That's what people on Kaizen teams, Kaizen events, in life in general, everybody, everywhere, that's the way we operate. You got to know it, though. We don't believe a word anyone says. We only believe what we tell ourselves about what we hear. And I'm telling you, you better be careful about what you say to yourself, because you're always listening. And like I just said, you always believe it. Right or wrong, you believe it. So look for ways to declare your intent, not just on Kaizen events, but everywhere in life. And especially when you're dealing with people you don't normally deal with, people who don't know you, people that you don't have a lot of deposits in the emotional trust account, people where you're either even or maybe you're overdrawn. Very often, when you meet somebody, you're overdrawn for reasons you don't know anything about. So you better be intentional about making deposits. And again, number one way, got to be authentic, got to be truthful, got to be honest, but you must declare your intent. Help them see why you're doing what you're doing. And you can't be manipulating. You can't be saying what you think they want to hear so that you can get them to buy into you, because they're going to see it. It's manipulative. They're going to see it. They may not see it on day one, but they're going to see it. Then when they see it, I promise you're going to be overdrawn. You're not going to have any authentic influence. And as a lean leader, if you don't have authentic influence, that most of the time that means you don't have any influence. Your life's going to be rough. Your results are going to be terrible. So one more thing I'll leave you with when it comes to intent, and I just touched on it a little bit, you are either manipulating or motivating. When your intent is to manipulate, that means it's not about me. It's about you and you benefit. I don't. When your intent is to motivate, then it's all about we. Everybody benefits. I benefit, you benefit, the team benefits. So declaring intent provides a clear vision in advance about what you're doing and why you're doing it. And in the end, people value and trust people who value and trust them. So another way to make a deposit is to trust someone. You may have to trust someone you don't know first. You got to trust them before they trust you. See, there's something about people who don't trust people. Other people don't trust them. I'm going to leave you with a quote today to wrap up today's episode from Ezra Earl Jones. He said this: leaders do not have to be the greatest visionaries themselves. The vision may come from anyone. The leaders do have to state the vision, however. Leaders also have to keep the vision before the people and remind them of the progress that is being made to achieve the vision. Otherwise, the people might assume that they are failing and give up. That's pretty powerful. There's a lot in that last quote that I just shared, but it's all about vision. It's all about being the leader, creating the vision, keeping it in front of the people, and letting them know how they're doing, that you're making progress, that you're getting there, because the last thing you want them to do is to fail and give up. And even on a micro scale, in a 5-day or a 3-day event, the same principle applies. You've got to lead the team. Be the leader, a high impact leader. You start out doing that on Monday, casting the vision. And then you help them understand when you're making progress that they're doing it, they're making it happen. Give them credit. Declare your intent as you go along the way. Make your behaviors align with your words, and your actions align with your words. All this stuff matters because it is building and making deposits into your emotional trust account. We talked about that last episode. If you didn't hear that episode, you need to go back and get that one. That's a big one. All right. Talk to you next time.
Make it happen or someone else will. It might as well be you. Are you serious about taking your career and your life to the next level and beyond? Check out Mac Story's Blue Collar Leadership series books and others, now available on audio, along with paperback and ebooks at Amazon, iTunes, and Audible. Please visit bluecollarleadership.com to learn about Mac's books, programs, special offers, certifications, and more. Thank you for listening to the Blue Collar Leadership Podcast.